What's up guys, and welcome back to Tech Plant. Today is a very odd video, but it's about raccoons. I actually ended up rescuing these 3 baby raccoons. We were driving at around like 8:30 at night, and we saw them just sitting in the middle of the road, and about 10-15 feet away there was sadly the dead mother. So luckily I had some grill gloves in my trunk and a cooler, and I chucked them in there, and I made sure the cooler lid did not shut because I didn't want them obviously to suffocate. And then here we are now at my house. I tried to do as much internet research as I could just to kind of give these guys their best chance at survival. I wasn't sure how long the mother was dead, and I wasn't able to get them to a shelter because it was late at night, and this was really in the middle of much of the COVID outbreak, so a lot of the shelters weren't operating normally. So from what I found online, you can weigh the raccoons to kind of get a guesstimate of how old they are, so you know what to feed them or what to do for them. So I put one in a shoebox, zeroed out the scale with the shoebox first, and measured them up just to kind of see where we were at. Raccoons are by far the cutest little animals I've ever seen. I never realized truly how cute they were until we had them up close and personal. Luckily I did have an old dog kennel from like back when we used to kennel our dog, and so we kept them in there just to kind of keep them safe so they couldn't get into the mischievous things that they're probably known for doing. After doing a lot of internet research, I did find that one of the most important things you gotta do is make sure that they're not dehydrated. That is probably one of the big keys besides like eating food. So this was probably around like, I don't know, midnight. We found that they could have Pedialyte or like an off-brand of Pedialyte because you don't really want the flavors or whatever. So we tried to find a 24/7 pharmacy so we could pick some up. We ended up finding one. We raced over there while they chilled in the dog kennel, and we found some Pedialyte. Sadly, we couldn't find any unflavored stuff, so they ended up getting strawberry flavor. This was also right around the time that we had our baby shower and everything because we found out my wife was pregnant, so luckily we had a lot of baby bottles on hand. So I loaded one of the baby bottles up. This was one of the brands that we didn't really care for, and I think this was even from like some sample pack. Apparently when you're having a kid, a bunch of companies will give you like grab bags and everything, so we knew we didn't need this one, so we could sacrifice it for the raccoons. Surprisingly, they really did take to the bottle. Maybe it's because they were already kind of seeing us for about an hour as we did research and everything else, so they were a little more comfortable with us by then, so they really did take to the bottle, and they seemed pretty darn thirsty. There's one part in the footage where you can see he actually like lunges for the bottle. It almost shocked me a little bit. It was pretty funny to see, but some of them got pretty aggressive with wanting to eat, so from what I could tell, they were pretty darn thirsty. Again, I don't know how long they were sitting in that road for, but I'm sure they were happy to be out of the road. I did my best to feed all of them. However, 2 out of the 3 were actually pretty aggressive, not aggressive, but they really wanted to drink from the bottle, and the other one was a little more hesitant for whatever reason. At one point too, one of the raccoons was actually just licking up whatever dripped onto the bottom. So again, this seemed to me to mean they were really thirsty, so we just kind of kept giving them Pedialyte. I did learn that the only way that these raccoons can go to the bathroom is actually if you stimulate them. Usually the mother raccoon will lick their butt, and that like gets them to go to the bathroom and everything, which is pretty odd. So what I did was took some wet paper towel and just kind of rubbed their butts, and then eventually they would go to the bathroom. So it was a pretty interesting experience learning all these things about the raccoons. But I did know or learn that if you feed them a lot of Pedialyte, you got to make sure you make them go to the bathroom because their bladders can just keep swelling and basically either like rupture or have like really bad consequences. So if you ever find yourself with raccoons, make sure that you help them go to the bathroom. I didn't film that for whatever reason, and you probably didn't want to see that anyway, so it's probably best that I didn't film it. But that's what we ended up doing. These raccoons really love to climb too, which I thought was hilarious. I did not expect them to be so willing to just climb around in the kennel. I guess it helps that it was made of like wire, so that way they could really kind of wrap their little hands around there and crawl around. But they really love to pack themselves all in one corner, and it just was so cute and so funny. After a while of doing even more and more research, we sort of determined that they are a little older and they probably are starting to wean off of their mother's milk and actually eat some regular food. So they looked a little hungry to me, so we decided to boil and scramble an egg, and I fed them about a half an egg and put some apple slices out there. I do hope that it wasn't too early, because I know they could get diarrhea from this, and then the shelter might have a little bit of an issue trying to get them to stop having diarrhea. So I hope I didn't make the wrong call, but I was doing my best at like 2 in the morning at this point, just to try and make sure that they were comfortable and doing okay. They were really loving the little bits of eggs that they were eating, and even when I tried to take some of the eggs away, they would reach for the eggs that I was pulling away, and it was just hilarious to see the kind of little bit of personality that these baby raccoons already had. I hope these guys don't figure out they can climb this brick wall. They made a mess out of that egg. What's up, buddies? They got burrs all in their fur from the... I got them all over my what's up? What? By the way, this is the noise baby raccoons make, and they make it constantly. I took most of the audio out only because it was me and my wife talking most of the time, but they constantly make this noise. It's really crazy, and it's absolutely adorable. What are you doing? Then the next day I was able to get a hold of a shelter that was still open during COVID, and we kind of arranged a time that we could drop them off, and we were pretty much ready to go. But yeah, just to end this video, we just loaded them up in a little box, took them on an 1.5-hour car ride, took them to the shelter and dropped them off, and hopefully they've been released back in the wild already. I mean, it's probably been, I don't know, 4 or 5 months since this all took place. It was a pretty cool experience. I learned a lot. Definitely next time I probably wouldn't feed them the eggs. But I don't know, maybe it was the right call or was the wrong call. Who knows? Well guys, I know this wasn't really plant related, but I thought everyone really could use a little cute raccoon in their life. So I thought you guys might like a little quick video about raccoons. And as always, may all raccoons grow strong and healthy. I'll see you next time.